Christ, that ends so abruptly. I have to fix that. Big up, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. This is the big debate show everyone's been talking about. Luis Suárez versus Thierry Henry. And I need guests. I need people to come on and help me with this, guys. We need to mix it up a bit. So I've got some guests in the back right now. Go bring out the first one. Everyone knows him. My tag team partner. It's, watch out for it. WrestleMania next year. We're taking on the Usos. It's Hugo the Savage.
Oi. I'm ready. You know what it is, bro. Hugo the Savage, Hugo the Savage, bro. Luke Cage before Luke Cage, like that. The pundit for the streets. I'm ready to knock some heads off. I came just for a funeral, bro. Come on, listen. I can't wait, bro.
I came for a funeral. My next guest as well. Good friend of mine. Smashing at the moment on his channel. He's doing big things. On the way to 2K. It's Monts from the Big Six Bands. How you doing, my friend?
Hope you guys are good, man. Thanks for having me on. Black Ops Monts here. So you ain't seen this stuff before because I've been harboring this one for a while. This is a debate that I've been very sure about for a long time. But we have to come in packs and we come with these arguments because these Arsenal fans do have sniper rifles everywhere in the UK. They battle on their king. So
they do.
Even though our King Gerard gets slandered every day of the week, if you even think about Henry in the wrong way, you might get sniped. So we have to come in packs, guys.
Yeah.
Come on. Subscribe to Monts.
You thought it was bad in Salisbury. Jesus. And next up, everyone might know this guy. If you've been watching Coppish and things like that and other Liverpool channels, he's been doing the rounds. He's now got his own channel and he's killing it at the moment. He started really well, doing good stuff. He's got to be big in the game on tenure. Jerry from the Jerry James Show. Big up to you,
What's up? How we feeling? Fresh trim. Just came out the gym. I'm feeling fresh. Monts obviously talked about being Black Ops Monts. I'm fresh trim J today, man. I'm feeling fresh. I haven't had a trim in months now, so I'm happy.
He's fresh.
And big up, obviously, Hugo and Monts in the building as well.
Big up.
So, guys, we also got a couple more coming in yet. We've got Guna Leeds guy making an appearance soon. And we've got Saint as well from Saint LSC TV coming up any minute now, guys. I'll get them on as soon as they're here. So, this big debate show, obviously, since I spoke about it and mentioned it the other day that I was doing this show, a lot of people have been going, Jamie, why are you doing this debate? It'll be about 10 minutes long. It's Henry all day. It's easy. It's done. It's not Premier League, guys. It's not just Premier League, because I'd agree. It's not Premier League. It's their whole career. From start to finish, the whole thing. We're going to go through it and and put it to bed once and for all who is actually the best out of two. Because in my opinion, these are probably the two best number 9s since R9 retired, I would say, that I like anyway, in my opinion. Other people might have other players, but in my opinion, it's these two. And we need to debate one. And before everyone else comes on the show and we get moving, next week, I've got another debate show as well. And this one's you think this one's going to be kicking off. Next week's going to be worse. Messi versus Ronaldo. The debate show next week. And we need to put, I'm not big. Yeah, it's got that one might be more tense because I've got a mad thing on Ronaldo. Ronaldo's not even in my top 10 players of all time. Let alone not even.
That's a hot take, but 2 La Ligas in 8 years, people don't know that. Just letting you guys know.
And let alone get.
Look at Jerry's face, man. I thought he froze for a second.
It's not even my top 10 of all time. Nowhere near it.
It must be.
It should have won more than 2 La Ligas in 8 years. But yeah, guys. Yeah.
So, guys.
Hey, Jay.
Yeah.
Tell this, not Jerry. This done in the chat. Tell my man to hush, man. Because
Jason.
Spamming up the chat and being rude and that, man. Just relax your skin, rude boy.
Yeah, Jason, chill out,
come outside, send me the IP address, not a problem.
Yeah. Jason's a big Arsenal fan. Ronaldo's far by top 5, best 5. Not for me, my friend. Not for me. I mean, I've watched football a long time, so I don't think he's technically better than a lot of footballers that I've seen, in my opinion.
I'll give you this, Jamie. There was a lot of footballers in it. But sometimes
exactly.
It sounds cut and dry, and then you remember certain ballers.
You remember a lot of players. Being the greatest goal scorer ever doesn't mean you're one of the best players ever, in my opinion. Because Ian Rush was an amazing goal scorer. Wasn't a great footballer.
Jerry's going to kick over the laptop. Look at his face.
Ian Russell's an amazing.
Do you know what's mad? Is that I'm not the biggest Ronaldo fan. I'm not. But you know when you just got to give a brother his plaudits, you have to, because we're talking about an individual player.
He comes 11th.
Ah, yeah.
He's the greatest goal scorer.
Amazing.
He's the greatest goal scorer of all time.
Yeah.
We're not only talking about that. We're talking about clutch moments. It's way more in depth than that. And obviously, Mons obviously did allude that obviously it's only 2 Ligas in 8 years, like you said. But we don't use that to beat Gerrard with, and we're Liverpool fans, isn't it?
Yeah, facts, Jerry.
Gerrard's not an attacker.
No, but it don't matter. It don't matter. We don't beat Gerrard with the fact that he didn't win a Prem. One Prem.
Yeah,
I think Ronaldo's John Cena, bro. I think Ronaldo's John Cena.
I can't lie. I do, innit?
Since when?
I do. No. The fact that Gerrard didn't win a Prem is not good enough. But obviously, Ronaldo was in a star-studded team. Gerrard went in a star-studded team. So when it comes to Ronaldo, as I said, man, can say I have my agenda, but for someone as good as him and as clutch as him, I wonder how many clutch goals are in them 800 goals if he won 2 Ligas in 8 years. I don't know. That's just me.
Oh, that's the next one.
Are we still doing this Liverpool on the Real Madrid of?
No.
Say, check this. Apparently, Ronaldo's not top 11 players. He's not top 10 players of all time.
No, I didn't say that. I
said it.
Jamie said that. He's definitely top 5. He's top 3. Probably top 2.
That's mad, bro. Yeah. He's not top 11.
He's 11th. Yeah.
11th. That's hot.
I think there's better footballers than Ronaldo.
I can back you with slander, but not outside the top 10.
I think there's better footballers.
Once the deep is going to get clipped up, he's had to backtrack now, man.
That's a moonwalk. Yeah.
They've already clipped my Ronaldo takes. 2 Ligas in 8 years. Tell me it's good enough. I always say this. Tell me it's good enough.
So Zidane, Messi, Maradona, Johan Cruyff, and Pele. That's the top 5 already. Ronaldo ain't better than any of them. So you got to think it through.
Quick one, Jamie. Pele.
There wasn't an offside rule when Pele was playing, though.
I don't care if I weren't alive. I've never seen God either.
Bro, goalkeepers didn't have gloves, like that.
I've never seen God, but I'm a Christian.
And that ball was a level. Do you know what I mean? That was a level. It
was a pig's bladder still. It was a pig's bladder.
Bro, Sobs were smoking behind the goal and that. Come on.
Pig's bladder, Them ones there, like, oh my days. Them rush goalies and that. Flipping.
That debate is for next week.
CR7, if you're watching this when this hits 1 million subscribers, just know, I'm looking at you, Ronaldo, just know that I understand you're still playing ball at 38 to just try and match Messi's legacy, and he's only 35. But I hear it.
He's playing at 40.
You know what I'm saying? I hear it, dog.
Teddy Sheringham played in the Premier League when he was 40 years age. What are we saying here?
No, I'm joking.
Right.
I'm clowning.
So obviously that's debates next week. I probably should have started it this week, but this one is the Suarez Henry debate, guys. And as I said beforehand, so the way we're going to look at it, we're not looking at career honours and all this sort of stuff, because there's been plenty shit players that have won a lot of honours in their career, and they're not. So I'm not going to put honours in there, because honours is a team sport at the end of the day. I say that about Stevie all the time. He's the best midfielder of his generation, but he never won the Premier League. And Danny Drinkwater did. Does that make him a better midfielder? Of course it don't. So that's why I'm not putting honours in this debate. I'm just looking at their whole careers as a player, where they started to where they finished. I mean, arguably Suarez has probably got another year left in him somewhere. So we're going to go through that whole thing and just debate who actually is the best out of 2. Before we get started on the debate, I'll just get into the chat, because obviously some people are a bit upset. I know Arsenal for Life in the chat said it's an easy one. This is an easy debate. It's not Premier League only, guys. It's their whole career. Jason, are you mad? Henry's the best of all time. Oh, my God. I know Arsenal fans, chill, my man, chill. It's not even a debate. It's Henry. Stephen, both of them were at peak insane. Both very different players, both unbelievable. Was in awe of Henry growing up, and he was in a great team. Suarez wasn't. Yeah, I mean, for Liverpool, but again, it's not Premier League, guy. This is their whole career. I'm not just going to go, because you can look at Premier League stats and look at two players in a certain league, and they might do great in one league and then utter crap in another league. So I'm not going by that. The whole thing. Jason, just chill, man. Just chill. You know, I know you're an Arsenal. I know you're an Arsenal fan, my man. I know you're an Arsenal fan, but God, Edwards actually killing it here. Bergkamp over Henry. Jesus Christ. Yeah, Bergkamp overrated.
Whoa,
yeah. They are fucking done it. Bring them all on. I don't give a shit. I'll post my address in the. I'll post my address. I'll post my address.
Man said Bergkamp is overrated. What is going on?
It doesn't mean. It still means he's class, by the way. I'm not saying he's terrible. He's still class.
Like the thing is, that Bergkamp short-lived compared to some of the longevity, but he was he
was class. He was class
to the thing, and he was way above.
he was a class player.
I think them plaudits were deserved.
He was just a class player.
Techie, super tech. No.
I can't have an elite footballer who's scared of heights. I just can't have it.
Well, you know the reason why he's scared, though, isn't it?
What's that?
When there's I swear there was some accident or something like that where you don't want to fly.
Oh, fuck me, I've had accidents time.
No, it's his parents, isn't it?
All right. Well, you know, eventually. Suarez, shit team. I don't know who's the shit team. We haven't even mentioned teams yet. Guna Lee, Guna Lee will be here. I need to get Lee's point of view on this. Carnu, another overrated player. Depends what you. What does everyone mean by overrated?
Carnu had arguably the best touch in the Premier League.
Yeah,
him and Berbatov, without a doubt. Like, what are you talking about?
Carnu was. I love Carnu for the little bit of time he's elite time he played. Yeah. It all depends what you mean by overrated. You can be overrated, but still very, very good footballer.
Of course.
Overrated don't mean you're a bum. You know what I mean? It's as simple as that. Suarez could do what Bergkamp did and 10 more. Yeah, Suarez.
Oh, I'm so ready for when it gets to me.
Suarez is different. So Suarez versus Henry. I'm just going to go first. I'm going to say what I'm a Suarez guy. The reason I'm a Suarez guy, I believe in the last 10 years, we talk too much about Ronaldo and Messi, and we should be putting Suarez's name alongside them. His goals and assists and what he did at that level as well. It's what he did at that level. It was just unbelievable. Obviously, it was a bit after prime Henry. So Henry before that was just at another level as well. Guys, these are two world-class elite footballers, elite athletes. None of these, no one is saying on any opinion on this show today, no one is saying either of them are terrible players. They are both world-class footballers. But as in Highlander said, there can only be one. And I am going Suarez for me. Savage, we'll just get your player and your reason why.
Damn, man. It's not your favorite, innit? It's nothing to do with your favorite. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
I can't do this, bro. I'm flipping out. I can't. Nah, man.
It's difficult. They are both world-class footballers. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, Suarez, man. Reluctantly, it's Suarez.
Why are you going Suarez? What makes you?
I'm not a super stat guy.
No.
I'm aware of all the stats. But for me, they're so close in talent, even though the attributes are different. They're so close in talent that the only thing you can use to separate them eventually is the stats, because we're not talking about what trophies they've won. Because obviously that's a different story. One's won more maybe, but then some's won like bigger trophies. And then with the stats, I've seen Suarez do ridiculous things, bro. That like it surpassed so many people. Only third to Ronaldo and Messi. And the data's there to show it, man. You can't even run away from it. I think statistically, overall, it would be third on the list behind Ronaldo and Messi in the last 10 years, 15 years. So Yeah, that's my reason. I prefer Thierry Henry as a footballer. It's what it is, and it's
Yeah.
Have to take that away from it, man. But yeah, that's my reason, man.
That's a fair enough reason. Mons, I know you got a big thing on this.
Well, again, it might not seem like it's not reluctant for me, and I want to see Henry in the mud. I don't want to see Henry in the mud. I don't want to see him in the mud. And just because I choose Suarez over Henry doesn't mean he's in the mud. He's still a phenomenal footballer. Yeah. But what people need to understand is that he's looked at for the majority of his Premier League. When people think Henry, they think Premier League and Premier League only. There's a reason for that, unfortunately. And the same Henry fans that, praise Ronaldo for doing things in other leagues and doing all this stuff everywhere else, they praise Ronaldo for this, even to go as far as to say he's better than Messi because of this. But at the same time, when you look at Henry, the 4.5 to 5 prime years that he gave Arsenal was pretty much the highlight of his career, because people won't really remember this, but by 31 he was playing in MLS.
Yep, facts.
Excuse me, you think my GOAT could be playing in the MLS at the age of 31? Now there's context. If you're playing in MLS by the age of 31, 32, whatever, give or take, unless they touched prime at 18 years of age, like a certain Wayne Rooney, then you can, like Wayne Rooney, he can be in MLS at 31. He can fall off at 30. Because he's given us 12 years of stupidness, 12 years of elite, of just masterful performances, season in, season out.
12 years of football slavery.
Yeah, but as I said, we're going. I'm taking off the Liverpool badge for now. Wayne Rooney's the don in it. Do you know what I'm saying? So in Wayne Rooney's case, he can go MLS at 31. Henry's given us 5 years. You can't go MLS at 31. Who do you think you are? You will stay in the top 5 leagues, and you will give us. And if you want to have this GOAT status, you better give us more years of football. Because when Suarez hit 31, he was hitting 50 goals. When he hit 32, he was getting 40 goals. When he hit 33, he was still getting 35 plus. And then when he moved at 34, the La Liga went with him. Away from the best team in the Liga in the last decade. Who's the common denominator? Suarez. You know what I'm saying? Suarez is the common denominator. Now people say Suarez might have peaked later, but Suarez's time for Liverpool, the numbers still speak for themselves. The reason we don't talk about honours is because Suarez wins in honours. The reason we don't talk about stats is because Suarez has played over nearly 700 games of football in his career. He's been inactive in 20 of them. I'll repeat that again. Suarez has played 700 games of football, just under. He's been inactive in 20 of them.
Bro, Suarez would have to play 88 full games without scoring a single goal to equal Henry's goals per 90, bro. Allow me.
Now, let me just finish. Now, so that's why we don't obviously try to look at the stats, because as far as the stats blow Henry's out the water, for one, in less games. It's not even close. And they played in the same leagues. And unfortunately, you could say sports science has developed. So in that sense, maybe that's why Suarez was able to play longer, because sports science, was further on. I mean, there's only a 5-year gap, so I guess I'm being nice. And then now you look at assists. So in all-time assists, it goes Messi, goes Ronaldo. You take away 3 assists, and you get to Suarez.
It's mad, ain't it?
Suarez is a striker.
Hang on. We got the man himself here. He's shaking his head already. He's shaking his head already.
I smell a scouser coming into the chat.
The one and only Gunnar Lee. How you doing, my friend?
Yo. You know what? I'm upset, Can I tell you, I'm upset with you, I'm upset, man. I don't know how you weren't even engaging in this silly conversation.
Let me just let Mons finish, and then I go before, innit? Like, I'm next, innit?
And I'm next after that, man. Yeah.
So, one of the things people love to project on me when I talk about Henry and his lack of scoring in big games as well, because I haven't even got to that. Do you know what I mean? There is a certain stat about Henry's finals played in gate and goals scored, but we really don't want to talk about that. As I said,
the quick
Suarez
talk about Salah, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but they'll talk about Salah. We don't talk about Salah. So I'll talk about Kane as well, by the way. They'll talk about Kane as well. So what was I saying? Yeah. Third most assists of all time. And you might say, oh, assists, it don't matter. He's a striker. But everyone loves to talk about 20 goals, 20 assists. No one's ever got 20 assists in the Premier League. 20 assists. Henry. Assist. Well, pick one. Yeah, do you know what I mean? 20 assists or the most assists of all time when it comes to these accolades. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, Henry got his 44 GA in the Prem, which is the highest of all, I think, or 42. And then Suarez also just one behind that with 5 less games played and 0 penalties, must I add. So there's more points I could throw in there, but and a Premier legacy, you give it to Henry, gave us 5.5 years of brilliance. But over the whole career span, it's not even close. No, he needs to go talk to Lewandowski and them, man. So.
Can I just I've just jumped in because are we talking about the career or the player and the quality?
The whole career.
So their whole career from the moment they were born to the moment they retired, basically. Fair. Their whole thing is just not Premier League. If it's Premier League, it's Henry, obviously. But we're going the whole thing. And guys, everyone in the chat as well. These are 2 world-class elite footballers. So if one says one and the other one says someone else says another player, it's not the end of the world because these 2 players are just. And I've said it already. For me, these are the 2 best strikers since R9 retired, in my opinion. So that's why we're having this debate because it's just good fun. It's just good fun, and personally, I didn't know what else to make. Saint, let's get to you. I think you've got a different take on it, maybe.
No. I don't even know. I'll go on. Go on. It's what it is for me. Basically, like Henry's, like his output, his scoring output over his best 10 years it just pales in comparison. Do you know them ones there? Like, and that's like Mont said, like in the Premier League, he's the guy in it. Did it 5.5 seasons, and he is the guy. But when you look at it, like over Henry's best season, like which was 2002, 2003, he had 55 games, 32 goals, 3 were pens, right? And then he's got 28 assists, a 1.16 GA per 90. And Suarez's best season, say 15, 16, he's got 53 games, so 2 games less. He's got 59 goals and 4 of those were pens. 24 assists and 1.57 GA. Like it's outrageous. Yeah?
And he was banned.
Well, it's not even close. Like these are.
He had time off, bro, for biting Ivanovic.
And then when you sit down and you're like, you know what? Yeah, like let's look at the Premier League. Yeah, let's actually look at like the Premier League. All right, cool. So I'd say 2002, 2003 was Henry's best season, and then he's got 37 games, 24 goals, 3 pens, 20 assists, 75 minutes per game. Cool. Suarez, I'd say his best season, his best Premier League season, 13-14. He's got 33 games, which is 4 games less. He's got 31 goals, no pens. He's got 12 assists, and he's got 68.9 minutes per GA. So I'm like, it isn't even like that's when you actually put it on the Premier League and you actually scale it down to their best seasons. And remember, he left. He didn't have the time that Henry had in this. It looks a bit And then also, then it's not fair because these are elite players, and like Jamie said, like they're both elite players. So you have to look at them in the elite competition. So you bring it to their Champions Leagues, and then you look at Henry. You're like his best Champions League probably again 2003, 2004. 10 games, 5 goals, 6 assists, 1.1 GA per 90. Suarez, 15-16 was his best Champions League season. 9 games, 8 goals, no pens, 3 assists, 1.22. So again, Suarez is edging him. There isn't really. You can't tell me a facet of output that Henry is outdoing Suarez. Like I said, over Henry's best 10 years, it pales in comparison to what Suarez is doing. It's actually a bit it's a bit disgraceful.
Have you got the final stats?
Like all the what's that again?
It's pointless. It's pointless.
Oh, no, so I don't do that. Sorry, no, saying go.
It's an embarrassment, bro.
It's not even. It's just not fair. It's not fair. All the huffing and puffing is not gonna blow down Suarez's house. Like, that's all I'm saying. But yeah, anyways,
Suarez got that GA record as well in the Prem. Just saying, anyway.
It's outrageous, bro. They were doing up Mike Tyson and that, and it's outrageous and still, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Well, yeah, that's me.
By the way, talking about Mike Tyson, I have a Mike Tyson video coming up very soon. I'll show the world.
Spinal.
I showed a wide way. I showed the world why he was actually overrated.
Jamie,
you did better hope that Mike Tyson don't see it, bro.
Jamie, I'm telling you,
Jamie, you need to.
Guys,
no. If you know your boxing,
if you don't release any videos for a couple of days, we know what's happened to him.
If you watch your boxing back in that era, Mike Tyson fought bums. There was nobody until he fought proper boxers, and he got beaten.
Look at Jerry's face, man.
It's true fact.
Bro,
fact.
Bro.
And I'm not the only one who says that, by the way. The reason I said that is because I listened to a Joe Rogan podcast, and Joe Rogan said it. So I went back and looked at actually Mike Tyson's history.
Funny that he didn't say when Mike Tyson was sitting there, did he?
No, he loved him, didn't he?
He hopped on hot boxing and
I went and looked at his career. You know, it's like when people say Tyson Fury is the best of his generation, and he's fought every pub boxer known to man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's
kind of similar. It's just that he was just vicious and violent, and he had main event appeal and all that sort of stuff. That's why
Mike and Castellano was ridiculous. Mike, that
man kept him straight. Let's face it.
I'm telling you, like that was straight, bro.
I think you got to remember though, Jamie, that in that era though, you had fighters like David Tua, and people didn't even know who that was. And David Tua was an animal, an animal. And in his era, if he was fighting now, he'd be in the conversation of top 3. Top 4,
because the fighters nowadays are
back then he was just a nobody. He was just a journeyman, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, you got to understand that.
I totally do. I just don't think he's
in the grand scope of boxing. Tyson's like at the top in it.
I just don't think he's number one for me.
I don't think he's number
one. No. Oh yeah, no, definitely.
That's what I'm saying. Overrated. No. Mike Tyson's in my top 5 greatest. Mike Tyson's in my top 5. He's just not number one. That's all.
Okay, I got you. Let's not take no heat off this guy, though. Let's get back on this.
Jerry,
the argument was that boring about Henry and Suarez that we went to boxing.
I just had to bring it up.
You know what? I'll be honest.
Today, my
boy. He's getting Liverpool red. Look at him. He's getting hot.
He's looking at stats right now. See the reflection on his nose.
Yeah,
there's a lot of crazy chat. No, I'm not trying to get caught in it.
I know there's a lot of Liverpool fans on here, obviously, but I actually thought there'd be more Henry love. I'm not.
All right, no, what I'll do is I'll try to play.
Go on, Jerry.
I will, because I can do that. Now, Henry, I've got to give it to him. When he's coming into the Premier League, and I think you have to understand, we're watching the Premier League, he revolutionized the Premier League. It was something that we had never seen before. So you could argue that his impact in the Premier League was 100% bigger. It was bigger because it changed the way the game was played. You know what I mean? He had the dynamism that no one else had. So I give him that 100%. Like me, myself, do you know what I mean? I'm 26, but I grew up when I was younger watching Henry 02, do you know what I mean? And especially being from London, that was me. That was one of my idols. It was like, yeah, cool, Henry. But you look at it, and Wenger was smart with what he did. Wenger went and he was so far ahead in terms of, obviously, you spoke about nutrition, tactics, do you know what I mean? Style of play, getting efficiency, sports science, all that type of thing, which meant that every player that played in that Arsenal team was a ridiculous athlete, which meant that players in the Premier League couldn't cope. You had people that when Wenger was coming in, and do you know what I mean, even at Liverpool, after the games, they were going to go and drink beer and stuff. Wenger was like, nope, you're not going to go and do that. So in response to being an athlete, he was supreme. You look back at Juventus, it didn't really work out. Monaco, it didn't really work out. He wasn't like Mbappe when he was like, you know what, he's going to be a world future star. He came through, and like Mont said, he shone through at Arsenal, 100%. You can't take that away from him. Premier League, great. I'd say his stint there makes him probably the Premier League's best ever striker. But as a whole career, I mean, I mean, there's nothing really more for me to say. I mean, they've summed it up. The stats are better. The honors are better. And yeah, you could argue that Henry won. Do you know what I mean? A World Cup, a this, a that. But the team that he was playing was ridiculously stacked. Like Uruguay, can't compare.
Jerry, can I just stop you on your one point? So why don't you use that same argument when he went to Barcelona and won of those trophies? If you're saying that team was stacked for France, why don't you use that argument?
They both went Barcelona.
They both went Barcelona.
Yeah.
They both didn't go to France. They both didn't go to the France team.
But I would argue that the Barcelona team was one of the world's best teams ever. Yeah, and I would also argue that one of the world's best teams in terms of going to a championship for an international tournament was that France team in the '98 team. So why does nobody ever use those circumstantial? Hold on. I just know.
No, but I'm speaking.
Oh, go.
No, but that's what I'm saying. So obviously you're talking about, and this is what I'm talking about. You talk about France, and you can use that argument, just like you can go and use an argument that Suarez compared to other strikers like Benzema or Lewandowski didn't get as many goals in the Champions League, which are facts. But when you're playing an international competition, is a completely different kettle of fish than when you go and play a 38 league season. And sorry, you can't go and compare what Suarez did on an individual level and a team level compared to what Henry did. Like Mom said, at the age of 31, 32, Henry was already in the MLS, my brother. If Salah had gone to the MLS now, that's the same. Look at Monty's face. Imagine Salah.
Salah's given us 5 elite seasons as well.
At of his career, he's had five good seasons, then bounces. I know for a fact, Liverpool Lee, you'd be telling us that Salah's dead, overrated. We can't rate him.
Can't go no-go conversations.
No cojones, all that type of talk. You have to apply that same type of logic. You have to. The rest, obviously, everyone in the chat's heard it. The rest of them have obviously summed up all my points. I just had that to say. I gave Henry his flowers.
Can I just, before going to league goes as well, when I said their best 10, their prime 10 years, just because I'm just trying to bat off what you might try and say, it's only a season and a half. Only a season and a half in
take it off. Don't need it.
Thank you, brother. Hugo, my don, brother.
Oh, Lee, I will say though, just for your own reference, before you came on with Jamie, when he mentioned how he was doing it, he said the trophies weren't involved. Just telling you in it, so you know.
But even take off the numbers, take off the Ajax numbers, because if you want to do up like,
hold on, if trophies are not involved, then what are you comparing? That you're just going off.
Yeah, no, I never mentioned trophies. I'm just saying, in it.
No, it's just going to make it harder.
What I'm doing is because international trophies, like if we compare trophies, it's like World Cups and stuff like that. And the reason I'm not putting that in it, because I've seen a load of bums win World Cups. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
but
lots of trophies.
But you can't take away the international trophies, because at the end of the day, he's won it, and he was an instrumental player.
Lee, if you want to put them in, mate, you can. On your
no, I don't need to. I don't feel like I need to. Yeah, as I said, for me, I feel like this is just a silly conversation, because at the end of the day, you go by eras, The same way how when you can't use, people say they can't compare Pele to players now, you can't compare Maradona to players now. If we're going off all of these stats and going off all these trophies and all, that means Zidane, you can't talk about him. That means Iniesta, you can't talk about him. That means that Gerrard's the best centre mid in the world. If that's what you're going off all of these numbers, and you're going off saying, like he did this and he didn't do that. Like, in my opinion, like, I'm looking at Henry and I'm saying, look, in the Prem, he's goated. Everybody knows that. Like, I don't feel like we need to talk about that. But my thing, what everyone keeps coming back and saying, when he went to Barcelona, what he's doing now, what I will give him credit for is what he's done at Atletico Madrid. Maybe I can give a caveat of Spain currently, or when he won it, wasn't at the peak, but he did it, and he was a mainstay in that team. And I have to give him props to that, because I think he was 33 when he won that Spanish title. So that's an amazing feat. And again, why I rate it more is because he was instrumental in it. He wasn't a big part player. He wasn't a Mustafi for Germany when they won the World Cup and man was just holding up trophies. He wasn't John Terry in the Champions League final when man had his kit on. He didn't even play a game. Like, these are things where I'm not really kind of adding that in there. But what you guys are doing is this whole numbers thing. All right, cool. He's played back at the higher level longer. But at the end of the day, it's circumstantial, bro. He went to Barcelona when you had one of the best teams and all these players were in the pomp. And for me, I'm looking at it and I'm like, all right, cool. He was at Arsenal. When he was at Arsenal, he had, I think, 6 seasons of scoring 20 plus goals. Yeah, he had that one season, goated when I think he scored 42 GA, which I don't really like. I'm just going off those 20 assists as a striker, the main striker in that team. And we had Dennis Bergkamp, who Dennis Bergkamp was meant to be doing that role, and he was still getting 20 assists. No one's talking about that. Look, and what I don't want to do, and I think Muntz made a great point. We're nitpicking because these are both elite, world class, like just amazing. It's almost like comparing Xavi to Iniesta. You can't. You're nitpicking. But for me, I'm looking at the career and where they came from and what they had to do. My man was still busting out in Monaco. People always forget that. People think, oh, like he was just some guy that just bust out through Arsenal. It wasn't like that. So for me, I don't agree. I don't agree and think like it's just straightforward. There's no kind of like comparison this. There's no comparison that. I don't look at it like that. But look, you lot are busting cheeks for a guy that paid for your seat for your club and won nothing. So like I don't even know what you lot are doing. Like you men are busting.
We're not busting cheeks, but we just.
Bro, this ain't a Liverpool thing. I don't even like Suarez.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't even. He's racist, but you know.
I don't like that he's a one bit.
It is what it is. I can't deny the facts, bro. And like you said, he's been playing longer. That don't matter. I took their best 10-year prime. So
who's been playing longer? Who's been playing longer?
Yeah,
you know, Henry's played more games than Suarez, don't you?
Yeah. So
he's played nearly 800 games.
But Lee,
he's played 100 more games.
You said he was doing stuff at Monaco, yeah? What was he doing at Monaco?
He scored. I'm sure I checked it earlier. I'm sure he scored like. Hold on,
28 and 139.
Say that again.
Yeah.
28 and 139.
I think it was 33, but yeah, 28 and 109. 109, you said, yeah?
Yeah.
130.
Nico Pepe.
How old was he at that age?
Bro, he's not tearing up trees, my guy.
Hold on.
Not Mbappe, though.
But no. But how old was he? I must ask you.
21?
19,
I think.
He was 19 years old, yeah?
That's a good record for a 19-year-old, to be fair.
As I was about to say. So if now, if a 19-year-old, I'll be honest with you. If Nunes gets those numbers, I'm gonna be on my knees clapping for him. Because
if Nunes gets, you said Nunes.
That's trash, bro. If Nunes gets that, he can leave.
20, you told me that he's got a this season.
I know. That's my whole point. That's my whole point. So I'm trying to say to you, I don't believe he's gonna get that. But if he does get that, I have to rate him.
No. So you're telling me if he averages what Henry averaged here, so 29 games, you'll be content with that. He's tearing up trees. You told me he was tearing up trees.
I will. Yeah.
In over 100 games.
Bro, nearly 150 games, bro.
I don't rate him, so yeah, that's why.
That's madness, bro. Foden, I swear Foden got more goals than that already. That's mad, bro.
He's got those. What are we doing, bro?
Look, at the end of the day, for a 19-year-old, as Jamie said, those are great numbers. Those are fantastic.
No, but Lee, we're talking about the elite of the elite of the elite. When you're talking about players of this age, first of all, Monaco weren't no big team back then. So when he was going, but wait. So they won. So he was obviously probably getting a lot of games. So those stats aren't really good. You look at the likes of the elite players at that age. You want to go and talk about Mbappe, even now, Haaland now, Messi, Ronaldo, anyone else playing as a striker, even the Michael Owen at that age, they're banging more goals. I don't count. Even Suarez's stats at 19, I'm guarantee you getting way more goals.
You got to find it, though. You can't say
where was he playing? Where was he playing if he wasn't playing the striker? Because when you got him, where was he played when you got him initially?
On the left wing.
Yeah.
No.
When he first started, how are you going to say?
No. Okay, and then he stunk it up, and then it didn't work out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, where was he playing in Monaco?
I just told you on the left wing. That's where he was on.
But I don't understand. In 130, that's still not great return on the left. He's still an attacker. It's still attacking. He's still an attacker, bro. Like it's the same with Suarez. Suarez weren't always.
Can I chime in? Can I quickly just chime in on one point?
Go for it.
You made a point about the team that Suarez walked into at Barcelona compared to the team that.
Say that again. I didn't even hear you.
You made a point about the Barcelona team that Suarez played with, the star-studded team that Suarez played with, and the team that Henry played with from 2007 to 2007 to 2010. And then, before I name those players, by the way, before I do that, you also look at the Liverpool team that Suarez played in, and the Arsenal team that Henry played in.
Okay. Yeah.
So it can go both ways. But when they went to the same squad, I think it's very unfair to say that Suarez walked into a team full of superstars compared to the Barcelona team.
No, but it wasn't about superstar names. It was about the team that they had.
Yeah,
but
Do you want me to read out the players?
Listen, go with your agenda. I'm waiting. Come, let's go.
So in that Barcelona team, by the way, this is in 2010. If I wanted to be rude, I'll go to 2007.
Don't do the 2007 one. It's too much, man.
It's too much.
That's 2007.
That's
2007.
That's the team he walked into. So you should really do that one.
Go ahead.
All right, 2007. Yeah. So of course you had Victor Valdez, you had Xavi, Iniesta, Samuel Eto'o, prime. By the way, when I say Xavi, Iniesta, I'm talking about Iniesta was 24, Xavi was 28. These men were in their prime. You obviously had Henry, you had Silvinho, you had Messi, you had Deco, who was actually 30 as well.
How old was Messi as well? How old was Messi?
Messi was 20. Messi was 20. Messi was 20.
That wasn't at his best form. What are you talking? Yeah, okay, but carry on.
Pardon me?
Oh, okay, carry on. I'll let you go. Carry
on. Obviously Giovanni Dos Santos was one of their younger players. You had Good Johnson, you had Carlos Puyol, Gabriel Milito, and Rafa Marquinez. So those are some of the names that were in that team. Obviously, as a starting 11, you was talking Xavi, Iniesta, and then Mandeco. You know what I'm saying?
Ronaldinho.
Yeah, as I said, Ronaldinho had actually left by this point.
No, he didn't. Not when he came, because I got pictures. I've got images of me and.
I'm talking about 2008 onwards, isn't it? But if you want to add Ronnie in there, Ronaldinho as well. So Ronaldinho, Eto'o, all them, man. And then you look at Suarez's team, who again, let's not get it twisted. This team was jacked as well. It was stacked. This team. You have obviously MSN, Messi, Suarez, Neymar, the big three. You had Iniesta, who was at this point 32. You had Rafinha, you had Turan, you had Denis Suarez, Busquets, Rakitic, Piqué, ter Stegen, Jordi Alba. Dani Alves, the greatest right back of all time, isn't even here. So, I didn't even mention Dani Alves in your team as well, by the way. I forgot to mention Dani Alves. So, you look at those two teams, and player for player, I think Henry's team was better in it. I think maybe as a unit,
I disagree.
As a unit, you might say Barcelona's team was better, but that's because MSN is the best front three we've seen ever. There's no front three better than that.
But you're proving my point, though. You're proving my point.
How am I proving your point?
Because you literally just.
What's the best midfield trio ever?
Yeah, but hold on.
What's the best midfield trio ever? What's the best midfield duo? I'll be pleased. What's the best midfield duo ever?
Busquets, Xavi, and Iniesta.
Who was playing with them?
Okay, yeah, but you just agreed with me, yeah. So, and can I just go back to your point, because it's going to go back to what I'm saying. You said to me about the whole Liverpool thing. I would agree. I would say, sorry. Yeah, you're right. That team wasn't the best team, but what I will say, and you guys all have to agree with, that team was made to attack. You had no defense. So, in my opinion, his goals and his sort of crazy stats that he was getting in those seasons, you can't deny that was an attacking team that was set up for your front 4 or 5 players.
He did it the season before, though, Gunnar. He did it the season before without.
Man was scoring from the halfway line and that.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, no. But what I'm saying to you is those 2 seasons, the season where you almost won the Premier League against Man United, that season. Well, that was what? The
season before that, Sturridge came in January. Coutinho.
No, what was that season? What season was that? That was
which one?
13, 14. You're talking about SAS with Coutinho and Gerrard, right? Two-fifths of that came in January the season before. So the season before that, that team was knocked out.
I'm talking about your title challenge season.
Okay.
That season, it was straight up gun-ho. You were conceding 3, but you were scoring 5. So that team was set up to attack, and you were just trying to outscore teams. My other thing I'm going to say is that season, and you can't deny it, Suarez wasn't a big game player in the Premier League. He wasn't scoring against big teams. He was scoring more in clusters against the smaller teams. Yes, he would score against Man United. Go and check.
The only top 4 team he scored against was Man United, yes, but it wasn't in clusters. He scored throughout.
No. What I'm saying to you, of course. No. What I'm trying to say is, yes, of course, he was scoring in many games. But what I'm saying, he was scoring 2-3 goals against your lower 7-8 opposition in the Premier League, and that's nothing to take away from him, because for me, as I sort of came into the chat or came into the video and heard, I'm not going off the kind of finals and him not scoring, because on the day, like, things happen in it, in my opinion, and I don't feel like that the final doesn't make a player, in my opinion. But I'm more looking at, he didn't do what he needs to do in the big games against those top teams, in my opinion, and he didn't. And the stats are there to show. You just told me he scored 1 goal against Man United. Like, he wasn't that big game player.
Yeah, but Henry didn't do. Henry was in
those games.
What was Henry doing in finals, bro? Like, what was
exactly? I've said I'm not using that, but what I'm trying to say to you is, in that season, that Liverpool team was an attacking team, and he was getting goals against the smaller teams, which would be just in clusters. He was scoring 2 or 3 goals in those games. That's facts. That is a fact.
Fair enough.
There's no conjecture there. That's a fact.
So what you needed onto at that point? Because obviously,
I then go back to go back to Barcelona. I believe, and as you said, yes, you're going off names, but that team that Suarez came into, in my opinion, was better than that team that Henry was in.
But it's arguable. It's not a landslide. It's arguable.
My opinion. And what I will say is, name-wise, the team Henry was in was better. But what I definitely do agree with, the team ethos and everything, that Suarez team was unbelievable. Like, it was just so fluid. That Emerson, that trio was the best front three that we've ever seen. The numbers that they were putting up, wasn't it that Neymar got like 42 goals as well in that season? Did he get 32 goals?
No, it was Messi. I mean, Suarez got 50 goals. Yeah,
that's outrageous. Come on, I have to give it to him. But I'm sure that Messi got like 30, 40 goals, and Neymar got
Messi scored 100 calendar year goals, I believe.
And Neymar got 42 goals in that season. So what I'm trying to say is that Liverpool team and that Barcelona team, they were made for that front three. In that Liverpool team, that team was made for that front three. Yeah. So I'm just looking at it thinking he was getting bags of goals, and I'll never take that away from him. Because to get 50 goals in a season is undeniably great. It's elite. It's worldly, all worldly.
But Lee, like Arsenal was Henry's team. The team was based around Henry.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Everything. Henry didn't have to play as a main striker. He could pull to the left. He could pull to the right. He could drop off and play as a DM if he wanted to.
This is why I had to remind myself I was like, oh yeah, he was, because of the fact that he just ran that front line by him.
He just did whatever it was, and no matter where he was, and when he got older and he didn't have, do you know what I mean? And he didn't want to go and be as explosive and come from deep anymore. He could stay further on and just stay on the shoulder, and it was fine. They adapted to him. When it was before and he wanted to pull out left and skin man and then cut inside whilst his starting position was up front, he was able to go and do that. That team was designed for him to be the best he could be. You can't deny that.
And I think the same thing for Suarez. That team was created and made for him.
If they're both the same, then it's perfect, isn't it?
So then your point negates itself.
The difference is, though, it negates itself, first of all, saying, and you're right. But the second thing is but listen, the team was based for Messi. It was for Messi. The reason why, what's it called? The reason why Suarez got the amount of assists he got was because everything was geared towards Messi. He had to do all of Messi's dirty work.
Can we just say, by the way, James, can I just add? You see, when the team is based around someone, it's not because that's the way they thrive. The best way for the team to function is if you base the team around Henry. The best way for Liverpool to function if you base the team around Trent and Salah. The best way for Liverpool to function, for Barcelona to function if you base the team around a certain Messi, Lionel Messi. Teams aren't based around one player because they're based on one player. They're based around one player because the player is that good. If you want to win, you go through him.
So are we all in agreement? Yeah, because
this is the 2009.
Yeah,
this is the 2009 Barcelona team.
Are you not trying to say that this team here was
go
better?
Go 07.
Are you trying to tell me that this team here was better than the team that Suarez entered into?
I say go 07. Go 07. That team.
If you go into two teams that they both entered into, so Henry entered into a better team. And that's where you got to start from the same point. If you're going to start from
was Henry Ronaldinho's successor? He was in it. He was Ronaldinho on the left side. Right?
Well, a lot of the players were still left over in it, but a lot of the players were left over from the team that Henry was in to the team Suarez walked into. The midfield was left over, a lot of it. The difference is Neymar, I think. And then obviously the back four.
Yeah, and you got to understand that front three is like what you were saying, is that They did everything. Like Luis Enrique didn't come and change the culture of the team like Guardiola did.
And
you had Villa, Messi, and Pedro. It wasn't that from. It wasn't that. You're talking about 2 errors after that. So the two errors after that team, you had a defense with Rakitic, which was, I mean, they had to start getting Rakitic, and then what was his name? The Bosnian brother from Juventus. What was his name? Forgot his name, but that's
Pjanic.
Yes, at Pjanic, they started getting all these midfielders in because they could see Xavi, Iniesta didn't have the legs anymore. So that front three was, you score the goals and we sit back. They didn't have Dani Alves anymore. They had to play a DM at right back. In what's his name? In Sergio.
Was it Abiel? No, it was
Sergio Roberto.
Sergio Roberto, yeah. But can we say can we just say that if you look at the 11, Jamie, can you get the 11 back up, please, if you can?
Yeah.
So, but no one here thinks that Henry wasn't better than Suarez as a player.
Because in that 6-tuple season with Barcelona, remember that they had Victor Valdez, who also was much better than Claudio Bravo, who was in goal for Barcelona. So you look at Xavi, Iniesta, and Busquets. They were moving with Mascherano, Rakitic, and Busquets. Doesn't come close. You had Jordi Alba at left back. Obviously, Silvinho. I'd say Jordi Alba's better than Silvinho. The two centre backs in PK and Torre. People need to understand that was a lot better than what people thought. And even who was centre back? It was PK, an older PK. PK. And who? In 2016. 2016, he was a centre back partnership.
Puyol was centre back in 2016.
Oh no! It was Mascherano playing centre back. What am I talking about?
Yeah, he was.
Mascherano was playing centre back with PK.
These centre backs are better. These two.
Yeah, and then who was playing DM? Rakitic was playing DM with Iniesta and Xavi with no kneecaps.
You lot are crazy, man. All right, but hold on. So no one in this video thinks that Henry isn't better than Suarez. I just want to know that.
Oh no! We talk about the career.
No. But I'm just asking because I just want to see where
Suarez is better than Henry.
So hold on. So you lot are saying Suarez is better than Henry, though?
I think Suarez is better than Henry. I'll say it straight up.
Prime. If we're talking at their scintillating best,
it's craziness, bro. This is actually craziness, bro.
I think I've seen Suarez score every type of goal.
What you prefer to see? What? Because he's got long legs. For what is that? What we're basing on aesthetics?
No.
That's what I said. Because when I came in the chat, Lee wasn't here, and the first thing I said was I prefer Thierry Henry to Luis Suarez. Nothing to do with the man. I just prefer him as a footballer.
Yeah.
But the thing is, because I see when Lee was talking about the stats and stuff and all these numbers, I get exactly what you're saying. But the problem is the players are so elite that that's all there is left to go off. Because everything else is subjective. If you go, it is because if you say, can Thierry Henry shoot better than Suarez? You can say yeah, and everyone else can say no, and no one's got the truth.
Okay.
Because I've seen Suarez score way more different types of goals. He's scored more variety of goals than.
No. Sorry, finish you.
Carry on.
No, it's just I've seen someone saying, when Henry come into Barca, they were a shambles. I'm like, hold on a second.
They weren't.
How are they a shambles?
He went there because there was
Super Cup. They won the fucking Champions League. They won. They were winners after that. They won the Spanish Cup winners after. Well, they were not a shambles.
Yeah, no, they weren't a shambles.
Like, let's not do that.
But Lee, would you go for the prime seasons then? Would you go prime season versus prime season, best prem season versus best prem season, and the Liga? You might as well leave it because Suarez, his stats are obviously ridiculous.
Yeah. What I will say,
if you went that, then
I think as well. One thing you do have to take into consideration is when he went to Barcelona, he came in and he was told to do a specific role to facilitate the other players. I don't know if you ever see the interview where he kind of always goes on and he does say that
that's true.
He even if he came out of position, because that team was made for Messi and Eto'o, sorry. And if he came outside, it was Eto'o. If he came out of position, he got subbed. So that is one thing.
Yeah, but that was when Pep came in, when Rijkaard because he was there when because he got signed by Rijkaard, and when Rijkaard did whatever he wanted, and but that first thing. So, but I'm saying that the bulk of his career, it was facilitating the other two players in that front three, and that is a massive indicator and a massive point that you has to be made. Sorry, you have to add that in. You also have to add in, bro. We're talking about different eras. What Henry was doing in 1999 and what he was doing in 2003, if he was a player now, he will be doing
I believe more than what Suarez was doing because
we can't be running if buts and maybe.
Exactly, but my point I'm trying to say is it was a different era, a different style of football, and you were required to do more. If you think about it, right? People say that 99 team is the best team ever. Look at the amount of points they won. So it was a different type of football. You had to do less to win a league. You had to do less to get golden boots. So what Henry was doing back then was astronomical compared to what it was what is now. So you have to add that in there. You have to add that in there.
I have to disagree with that. I'm not even saying that back then it was harder to do, and it's harder to do than what's done now. What people do back then, what people do now, it's just different. I think it's too difficult to say which one's harder to do then or now. I think we just have to say it's different because there's arguments for both sides. You can say back then defenders just had to defend. They weren't told how to do a system. They didn't have a specific system because anyone who had a system back then were ahead of their time. Anyone who had a system back then were ahead of their time. So therefore, you could argue it's harder to play in a system, and systems were successful when teams are just playing off vibes and talent. So therefore, it's harder to play a system. If it's harder to play a system, then Suarez plays in the system better than Henry.
If anyone had a system back then, it was Arsenal.
Yeah, and Man United as well. And Man United. So I just want to know, like, if you lot are trying to, or maybe kind of trying to signal that Suarez is better than Henry as a player, what is Suarez better at?
This is what I just said to you. This is exactly what I just said.
That's one does the preference, though.
No. But if we're talking about the player for player, what is he better at him though?
Yeah, he scored a bigger variety of goals. Didn't have the athleticism of an Henry that is just a natural born gift given from God. Yet could scored more goals, scored from outside the box, scored more free kicks, scored volleys, scored overhead kicks. Just did everything. That's not to take away.
So what? Henry scored tap-ins?
No. Listen to what I said. He scored a wider variety.
What is he better at? That's what you need to get to. Like you're doing semantics.
Better close. I think he's got better close control.
I think he's got a better. I think Suarez got a bit better first touch.
If we had to list like as a striker, 15 attributes for a striker, you lot are telling me what close control, and that's it.
So no, hold on. Let's look at this. Henry as a dribbler, Henry did not have Bergkamp's dribbling, by the way. He was tall, he was lanky, he was like Kanu in the sense that his dribbling style was not that. It was a bit kick. I'm not saying he's kicking around.
It was Bale-esque.
Yeah, it was more Bale.
Yeah, it was Bale-esque. It was Bale-esque.
Suarez in tight spaces. Yeah. So Suarez in tight spaces, obviously, because, and I'm not saying this is a mad attribute for Suarez, but Suarez is shorter and more stubby. So he had a lower sense of gravity, similar to a Tevez. So do you know what I mean? He was able to get out of small spaces. Henry can get out of small spaces, and his snapshots, in my opinion, were a lot better than Suarez's. Because when Henry used to get half a yard in a snapshot, best believe it's going top corner. Best believe it's going in. Do you know what I mean? Like, but that's why I said it's so easy to say,
And I think a lot of things. I also think a lot of things are subjective as well. To say like shooting.
That's what my point was.
Like to say shooting. If you say that Henry was a better shooter, I'm not gonna sit there and be like, no, he was.
I'm just asking you if you can list 5-10 things as a striker, what was he better at? Because you lot are kind of like fluffing around the question. I'm just asking you, and you're not really giving me an answer.
Now, Lee, I actually want to back you on this, innit? But the fact that what Saint just said is right, it is subjective, and if you make it not and go on the stats what are there on the same ability, Suarez still wins. No, because if you say shooting, which is going to be the only way you can do it on the stat is conversion. I'm not going to sit here
and be like you're mad. I'm not.
Exactly.
You know, I'm not asking you to agree or disagree. I'm just asking you to tell me like what you think, your opinion. I don't need to agree with you. I'm going to be quiet. I'm just asking you what you think.
Close control. Better center of gravity, more skillful, better shot, better aerially, better free kicks.
Is aggression? You want to take aggression in there?
Yeah, you know what I mean. I think Henry was a better passer of the ball. Like, do you know what I mean? Like that. But again, I think about 3 or 4 of the things that in which I've named are subject other than aerially.
Yeah,
you
can make an argument.
You know what I mean? You can make an argument. So it's like, this is why I'm like, I understand the question you're asking, but unless you're not talking about 2 players where it's like, you know, them ones there, like it's.
Can I add your point as well that personally, even if Suarez has more attributes than Henry, in my opinion, if Henry's attributes, if Henry had maybe 4 less attributes, but if he used those attributes better than what Suarez used all his other attributes, then it doesn't matter. It's about how you use your attributes, and both of them used what attributes they had to maximize their ability. That's why the argument is so fragile, and it's in such a great area to do the who's better at what. It doesn't make sense. I'd like to say stuff like one was brought in to accommodate Messi, one was brought in to play with Messi. You hate to hear it, but one was accommodating Messi and wasn't able to play his game.
No, you go and say that, but you compare Suarez's game at Liverpool and Suarez's game at Barcelona. It's two completely different things. He was
given more freedom. He was
way more of a facilitator. He had to go and drop off way much deeper. He's the one who assisted Messi onto his goal.
He did the Benzema role when Ronaldo got there.
Exactly. That's what he did and got his goals. And I think that's what's impressive, because everywhere else, whether it was at Liverpool, whether it was at Ajax, whether it was at Groningen, he was the main man. Go and do your thing. Go and do your thing. The one time Henry wasn't the main man, which was at at Barcelona. You saw his stats dipped and he wasn't as effective.
That's what I said, Jamie. Where I said one was brought in. Yeah. Oh, sorry to interrupt. I said one was brought in to accommodate. The other was brought in to play and to play with. There's a big difference between accommodating for a player and playing with them. When you are that good, as I said, you are made the main man. You are made to be the main man. Everything goes through you. When he went to Barcelona, he was moved to play on the. He went back to a left winger more than a striker, and he struggled. Apart from his first season, which he done really well, he struggled to maintain a system. But I was told that if Henry was to be put in a system and play in today's game, he'd be doing what everyone else is doing and better. But when he was put in a system, but when he was put in a system, he lasted under 3 years and was in MLS at the age of 31. But when Suarez was put in a system where he wasn't the main man, he went and got his goals, done the Benzema role, and got a crazy amount of assists. So, but you told me if Henry was playing in the system, that he'd be killing it. He got put in a system, bro. He got put in a system.
Guys, I agree. I agree with everything everyone's saying. I think Lee's brought up some really good points, to be fair, and he's fighting his man's corner, and I dig that. I do dig that. Big up, Lee. Yeah. And you should do as well. And these are two world-class footballers, as we're talking about. Two elite footballers. So finding differences in their game is going to be extremely difficult. Sometimes it might just be it might be sometimes who you just prefer on the eye, or who you have more of an attachment with, or who you just that player you just like the best, you know. But these two players are exceptional. Now, someone said about Henry's team when he went to Barcelona in 07, 08. So he played in a front three of Messi, Ronaldinho, and Thierry Henry. A midfielder, Xavi, Torre, and Iniesta, Silvinho, Abidal, Puyol, Zambrota, and Valdez. That was the first 11, and that team.
Porn. That is football porn. That belongs on X.
That team finished third.
You lot, I'm not joking. Yeah, I swear, I'm being so serious. You lot are absolutely capping. You lot going on like that was the world's best team. Like
what happened next year, Jamie? Go on, Jamie. What happened next year?
I know.
Tell me the treble that was won next year.
I lie. What happened after that? When they actually gelled, what happened?
Yeah, talk to me about
you know what this conversation reminds me of. Yeah, it's almost like that. You know how all the Liverpool fans would say, "Oh yeah, now he's the best centre mid in the world ever," and only because he played for Liverpool. That's
he was before Liverpool.
Like, that's that. This is what this conversation reminds me of. It's a bit like that, but that team is that 07 team. Like reading it out, it sounds like a world beater, but you need to really go back and deep that team. I understand that the next season they did win the treble, and listen, we are talking about semantics because the team was amazing. So no one here is saying that team was rubbish. But I just think you need to kind of really go back. When you're talking, like, I can't even believe we're having a conversation and people are kind of saying that Suarez is an actual better footballer than Henry. Like, I literally can't believe I'm in this conversation and that's happening. But look, I don't even want to talk about that.
What is it that makes it such a landslide?
For me, genuinely, hand on my heart, apart from that tight control, I think Saint said that sense of low sense of gravity. I think you do know that having a low sense of gravity is a physical attribute. That's a physical attribute that he has no control over. So that's not a
But
striking
it's still,
attribute.
but not everyone that's short has a low sense of gravity. Do you know
But
that one? It's still
that tall is that long, like that fast.
But a physical attribute that such as a low sense of gravity isn't a striking attribute. It's not something to do with that.
I hear you. But
So
what would you say that? Yeah.
So would you say pace? Would you say pace is an actual attribute?
Can't use pace either then.
No, you can't. I haven't mentioned pace once.
No, Jamie said that. Nothing. Yeah, you can't use
that. I haven't mentioned pace, but I genuinely believe as a striker, and you lot are going to think I'm going crazy myself, but I genuinely believe as a striker, you can't compare Suarez to Henry. Like they're just two.
Tell me the attributes.
But why?
Tell me the attributes. Tell me your question. Your question back to you. Your question back to you. What are the attributes as a striker that you think he was?
Okay, so I'm gonna say my attributes that I believe that are better. And again, I'm not saying that it's a wide margin. Yeah, so please put that into. But I think shooting, he's much better than Suarez. I believe that his close control is much better than Suarez. And again, the close control. Hold. No, I'll say no.
No. I just said subjective because those are the very two that I use. So go on, please.
But do you remember?
Let talk, guys.
Whatever you say, I'm gonna say. But again, I kept quiet because I was sitting there when you were saying them things and thinking you were crazy. But no. But I genuinely believe that the fact that he had close control, and again, you lot are thinking back to these the Norwiches, and that's all you ever remember. But I'm talking about generally speaking. I think that if as Jerry said, even though this isn't a physical or striking attribute, but the variety of goals. Are you forgetting the goals he scored against Man United? Are you forgetting the goals he scored against Liverpool? Are you forgetting the goals he scored against Real Madrid when he ran from the halfway line, dribbled past all those elite world-class players and scored a goal in the Bernabeu? Are you not forgetting that? Are you forgetting how he came up trumps? Yeah. So the variety goals. Are you forgetting that overhead kick that he scored from outside the box against Artes? Are you not forgetting that? Are you forgetting the goal that he scored against what's his name? Chelsea in the semi-final FA Cup? Are you not forgetting that? Are you forgetting?
We could list goals for Suarez as well. By the way, we could go for a
yeah. My point, but because I think you lot are kind of, you got this kind of idea of Suarez in your head and all the things because he's more recency, so you're gonna remember that. That's just normal. So for me, I'm 30 years old, so I really grew up in the trenches with Arsenal. I'm from London, so I really grew up in the trenches. My dad worked in Highbury, so I was there. Like I was sitting and I was going to games. And my first game was Newcastle at home against Arsenal. So I really remember the Highbury days. So for me, like there's nothing other than, I would say, probably. You know what? And again, this is something which I have to really rate Suarez for. For the height he was a great header of the ball. He was a great header of the ball. So I think
aerially, again, isn't thingy, is it? It's not debatable, that is it?
No, it's not debatable. I think Suarez was a much better header of the ball than Henry. Henry wasn't a good header of the ball, not.
But the thing is, what you're saying is that I agree with you, right? I agree with you. Like everything you're talking about, 100%, the Bartes goals, all that type of thing, 100%. But you've mentioned Norwich and you're talking about Liverpool and Suarez at Liverpool. If you go to Suarez at Barca, what did he do at PSG? What did he do against Real Madrid? What did he do against Atletico Madrid? What did he do against? Do you know what I mean?
But you know why I'm saying that though? Because I'm looking at the top of Barca.
No, but he was top. Like what I'm talking about, it was top trumps, and in a team where everything's based around Messi. He's the one that so many times came clutch, and he's a facilitator. When you're the main man and you're told, is that some of us are basketball fans and you might not be. It's like Russell Westbrook, innit? It's like when Russell Westbrook is the main man in a team, he can do it, perform, and he's great, and he's dunking on man, he's doing everything, right? When he's meant to be part of this team and make it work, he can't do it.
But you know, when we talk about this, can I just?
Hang on. Siri, who's Russell Westbrook? Let me just. I have no idea.
Do you know what? Yeah, I think what we need to kind of really get through our minds, and before I go into that, I know Capo TV made a great point, but we're not just talking about the Premier League. We're talking about
it's a whole career.
We're talking about whole career. So if it was a Premier League, I think.
It's a non-debate.
Yeah. But we're not talking about that. We're not talking about this the Premier League. So that's why I think guys are kind of saying that. But big up though, Capo. But when we go back to that Barcelona team, with Henry, you really need to kind of remember how he was treated at that team and at that time. the way he was put into that team. I know you're saying that it seemed that he couldn't kind of fit into that team, and the way that he was put into that team, it was almost a bit like he was a bit part player. But that's the way that Pep treated him. Pep made the team for Messi. Messi was a golden child. Messi was the one that Pep knew that was going to take him to that next level to win that Champions League. You know, so for me, I'm looking at it and I'm saying,
was he wrong in doing that? By the way, sorry to interrupt. Was he wrong in doing that because he got the trophies he needed?
Yeah,
he won everything.
But I'm not the person to say that, because we don't know if Henry was the main man. You never know. So you can't, the same way you said you can't do if buts and maybes.
It doesn't get much better than the six double.
But you said to me,
it doesn't get much better than that though.
But you said to me you can't do if buts and maybe. So you can't sit there and say that. That's what you said to me, no?
I hear it.
Okay, so
you can't say he was. You can't say he wasn't successful. Like, obviously, we'll never know what happened if he made Henry the main man at Barcelona. But
one thing,
Messi the main man.
One thing you can't put on Henry's footsteps is his goals. He was a winner. You can't say that. So you can't sit there and say if he went to Barcelona and was the main man that he wouldn't have been able to come through clutch and be that player to kind of win those trophies, because he had done it at Arsenal. So you can't sit there and say that. Whereas with Suarez at Liverpool, it's a bit fugazi.
Lee, just put a pause on it 1 second, my friend. Saints gonna have to jump.
Big up, Saint, man.
I just want to say thank you very much to Saint for coming on.
Big up, bro.
Thanks for having me, bro.
And,
it's always a pleasure.
Just tell the world where they can find you, my man, if they don't even already know.
Saint LFC TV right here. Do you know what I'm saying? Saint LFC TV. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, right. I don't know how I did that there, like that. Jeez, yeah. It's mad. It's like an optical illusion or something. But yeah, no, listen, thanks ever so much. Please hit that like button, everyone that's inside. Jamie, obviously, thanks for having me. Always a pleasure.
Every time.
Yeah,
big up.
Peace.
Now, what I'm going to do now, just before I let Lee go on, and Lee's making some great points as well. He's picking up his man. I love it. That's what debates are about, and I appreciate Lee coming on as well. And I'm just going to bring up some stats. Now, I'm not the biggest stat person in the world, because I was on a show once when someone told me that Iniesta and Xavi are the most overrated midfield combination of all time, and I went on this debate show to say, like, that's obviously not correct. But they gave me stats. And they gave me Lampard stats and things like this. And I couldn't have it. I can't have. So I'm going to give you some stats out, and we're going to talk about it from there. But like, where I am with stats, if you look at Frank Lampard scored like 100 more goals than Zinedine Zidane. But is he a better footballer than Zinedine Zidane? No, obviously not. So I'm going to do the stats thing, and then we're going to talk about it again after that and let Lee have his say, because Lee's spitting with what he wants to say at the moment. So Luis Suárez, total career games, 699, 437 goals, 240 assists, which is just...
The assist is mad, you know.
That's just inactive for 20 games.
Yeah. That's probably gone up a little bit now, because these stats might be like a little bit, just a bit out of date, but with international football and stuff like that. And then Henry's stats are mad as well, absolutely mad as well. Let me just get Henry's up because my page moved. So Henry's stats: 790 games played, 360 goals, 179 assists. That's just mad. That's just mad as well. We're living in a mad world. And like, if we're talking his Arsenal career is ridiculous. 375 games, 228 goals, and 106 assists. With Suarez at Barcelona. At Barcelona, Suarez played 281 games at Barcelona. 194 goals and 113 assists. It's just
he was the only person as well to win the top goal scorer, and I think it was top goal scorers Messi and Ronaldo every year for about 12 years, isn't it? He's the only person to
the only one to break that. Yeah, he's the only one.
So
that season you're on about, the 2016 season, is best.
16.
GA was 83 that season.
I mean, the stats on both players are just out of this world.
Jamie, how many international goals has Suarez got? And that I'm not digging. I'm literally just asking the question.
I've got that. Hang on. Yeah, I've got that. So for Uruguay, he has played 132 games and scored 68 goals. Henry for France has 123 games, 51 goals.
Oh wait,
he got 50 goals. He didn't get 51 because he cheated and did the handball against Ireland. That's not a goal, man.
It counts, man.
He
got into the World Cup.
Nah, man, that's not a goal.
Listen, it counted, didn't it? You got to give it.
Unfair. Listen, Henry is my GOAT, bro. I saw him at the Emirates probably like a month and a half, 2 months ago. Sorry, and I was. Bro, I couldn't believe it. Like I was almost in tears, bro.
I remember you. Yeah, I remember you came on.
But yeah, for me, like I'll be honest, like that goal shouldn't count. But look, for me, as I said, it's difficult, innit? Because even though I'm coming at Suarez, I love the guy. Like as a footballer, I love the guy. So I can't sit here and sort of bash him. And that's not what it is. You guys know that's not what it is, and it's all good and it's all respectful. This is what I like as well. But for me, I don't want to have the comparison of the player, man. I can't get myself involved in that, man. But look, the numbers for Suarez are outrageous. And if you're genuinely sitting here asking me, I'm gonna have to say that Suarez's kind of whole career is better than Henry's. Of course, it's on paper, it shows. Look what he's got, look at the trophies he's won. I will say that again, the international trophy, it does weigh heavy. It does weigh heavy. And you can say what people can say what they like, but the Copa America, that Uruguayan team that he was part of, that team did get to the semi-finals of the World Cup. So we can't then say, oh, well, they weren't good enough to win the Copa America.
we all know how.
Yeah. They did get there though, and they got through the group stages. They got through the quarterfinals. They got through the.
It was a good Uruguay team, yeah.
It was a good Uruguay. So we can't sit here and say, oh well, like this whole Copa America, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. Like we can't do that. They had Diego Forlan, they had Cavani, and they had Suarez. So listen, that European trophy and that World Cup weighs heavy. And Henry, as I said, was an instrumental part of both of those trophies. And again, we can sit here and say, oh, this and that about the team, but we don't do that when we go through the MSN team. We don't do that. We keep saying, oh, he did this and he did that. So look, like, I mean, Henry is, for me, is absolutely goated. So is Suarez. If you're asking me to be honest, yeah, like I'm going to have to say that in terms of career, the numbers don't speak, that they don't lie, they speak for themselves. But if we're comparing players, I'm not getting involved with that because to me, there's no comparison. There's absolutely no comparison.
This is where stats can be an argument because, as I said, I look at midfielders. I had this, for me, Iniesta and Xavi might be the two best midfield partnerships I've seen. The best midfield partnership for a club side I've actually seen, the way they work together. But if you look at their stats for assists and goals, it's not amazing. It's not like, oh my God, that's out of this world.
Thank you very much.
No one can tell me. But it's just, stats can be misleading at times. But for forwards, I don't know if stats can be that misleading because goals is their game. Do you know what I mean? But they also played in different sort of like times, didn't they? It weren't at the same time as well. So you got to put that together. That's why these debates are interesting, in my opinion. That's why these debates are very, very interesting. But with the World Cup thing, so Capo here says, didn't Henry do it for France too? He was France's top goal scorer in World Cup 98. I think he was with Zidane, weren't he? I think Zidane and him were equal 3.
And Vieira.
Yeah, because Stefan Givarch didn't score a single goal and he was their striker. Terrible.
I think he was the top scorer. He was top scorer in the Euros, though.
Yeah, he was top goal scorer in the Euros.
I think it was 5 on that one.
Trezeguet got the clutch goal, though, didn't he, in that final? If I remember rightly. Yeah, Henry was tearing it up. But Suarez has got one more World Cup goal than Henry. I just looked at the stats.
But how many World Cups does he have?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's another thing. But World Cups is hard to do, ain't it? Because some of the best players of all time will never play a World Cup. So it's such a difficult thing. Such a difficult thing. But look, Jerry, you was going to say something, weren't you?
Yeah. I was going to say that I think with the Henry kind of situation, I've said it before, is that he epitomized the kind of a generation and an era in a league, right? And that was obviously at his best. So the league, he was the face of the league. When you think of the Premier League, then it's always his face that comes into mind. And I think we have to remember that he was incredible. I think the one thing that I think does hinder Suarez is that unfortunately, he was doing it at a time when Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi were still about. So he didn't get the plaudits and the clout, because I think if he was just their outright number one, I think naturally, I think generally football would look at it differently, because you would say, oh, he would have, do you know what I mean, potentially won a couple Ballon d'Ors. He would have done this. And I know I'm not talking about ifs and stuff.
Yeah.
But obviously, Henry at the time was the face of the league. Anytime you thought of Arsenal and Arsenal were dominant, anytime you thought of the best player in the league, it was always Henry. And maybe, do you know what I mean, in that season when he was, do you know what I mean, when Suarez was at Liverpool, he was probably the best player in the league. But it wasn't over a consistent time. And even in La Liga, he wasn't the best player in that league. Do you know what I mean? Like, he wasn't outright the best player in that league, because you could argue it was a Neymar, you could argue it was a, do you know what I mean, a Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi anyway. Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi are the main ones that you could argue. So I think that does hinder him. And I think in general, in an argument, I think if you went, and it'd be nice to compare like a Suarez without Messi and Ronaldo to an Henry because there was no one else in his league, and at his point, there was no one else better than him in the league. Whereas when you're looking at Messi, like Suarez, he was third fiddle essentially in that league.
To be fair to Suarez, I mean, not to be fair to him, it's his own fault. I don't even think it was just the fact that Ronaldo and Messi was around, because there was at least 2 of them seasons where he could have got a Ballon d'Or for being just a better player. But yeah, man, he's a scumbag, innit? That's what went against him. Because even the season, obviously the season at Liverpool, we didn't win anything, can it? So that went against him in the Ballon d'Or, of course. But the other season has been racist and biting, man. And then the 2016 season, his best season at Barcelona, they just didn't take into account, because he's a dickhead. I swear when they put the list up for one of them, he didn't even make the top 30.
Yeah, I think the problem was there though, is that even though
they banned him, didn't they?
Goals, even though he got all those goals, Messi's assists were ridiculous though. Like Messi, and I think that calendar year, that even more. He got 100 calendar goals, so it's difficult to. It's
kind of madness, isn't it? You get a GA of 83, and Messi blows you out the water on the same season.
That's not natural, is it?
And then you've got Ronaldo on the other side, that, do you know what I mean, in the Champions League is tearing it up. So it's really difficult. Like I do think if it was just him outright, he would 100% won it, regardless of, because he was the separation between Suarez and the rest was so big.
Go on, but I do think as well, again, going back to the whole different eras, you got to think, one of you lot's goats, Michael Owen won the Ballon d'Or. I think, did he score 16 goals that season?
Yeah,
that's not.
You have to.
That's not my goal. The pussy.
This is what I'm trying to say, though. Like, you have to really take into consideration different eras and what that means, because 16 goals right now, you wouldn't even get in a championship.
Well, the Ballon d'Or was different back then as well, wasn't it? It's a European Player of the Year,
the
wasn't it?
The season that Henry came second, he lost out to Nedved, and he got absolutely robbed.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah,
like, he got absolutely robbed. So again, he was if buts and maybes.
Wait, isn't that the year they lost the Champions League final? Is it that year?
Yes, it was the 2003.
So I think he was kind of borrowing it.
He was robbed, but he also missed 3 1-on-1s in that final.
It was 2003 that.
If it was
okay.
He missed 3 1-on-1s in that Champions League final.
That's something totally different. It wasn't that season. But he came second. Yeah, I know. You can take a dig at who you like. Don't worry. But listen, I remember a certain man crying on the pitch at Christian Ball. So look, we moved.
He did. But he also scored against Juventus to win that Champions League.
Yeah, he did. Cool, well done. But look, I'm just looking at it. And I'm saying, look, like, he was robbed. He should have definitely got that Ballon d'Or. And again, look, people have said in that season he scored 30 goals in the league as well. By the way, I just want to point that out to man. In 2003, he scored 30 goals in that season. So look, like, the way I look at it is, it's different eras. I truly do believe when he went to Barcelona, it was a very difficult time for him. Only because he was shoehorned into a formation that wasn't created for him. He wasn't there to be the main man. And I believe he thought that he was going to be a different sort of system, a different idea. And obviously he got brought under a different manager. So that's another thing you got to take into consideration. So there are many.
Lee, question, bro. I'm not trying to wind you up on that, but how close is Salah to Henry, bro?
Listen, I don't think you want to have that conversation with me, because I don't even put Salah in I don't even put Salah in my top 10, bro.
I'm just asking. Like I said, bro, when you came in, like, Henry's my second favorite Prem player of all time, bro. So it's not
Who's your first?
Oh, Stevie. We're Liverpool fans, obviously.
Bear in mind, I said favorite in it, but I'm saying. But Henry's my guy, man.
Yeah, Henry was
I
great.
prefer Henry on the eye as well. Like if you're asking me between Henry and Suarez, who do I want to watch? It's Henry every time, bro. But it means nothing, innit?
But again, like I think it's hard to say that because I do love Suarez as well. So this conversation is a bit like all over the place. But I'm just trying to back for my guy because I can't have people saying that he's on the same level as Suarez because he's not. Like as a footballer, he's not. Like no one.
I'm just saying, why Salah not in your top 10 though? And what attributes does Henry have better than Salah, bro?
Nah, Salah, man, bro, that guy, yeah, bro. Him and Suarez, so him and Nunes, boy, they're gonna have a lot of fun next season, bro. I'll tell you that much, bro.
No. But what about? But again,
again,
I hate to dash out a high five to everyone, but when you get 5 elite seasons, Thierry Henry gave us 6.5 elite seasons.
Bro, numbers. Listen, I can tell you now, bro. I keep trying to say to people,
numbers. I'm not talking about numbers. I didn't say anything about numbers.
Numbers don't. I don't care about.
I didn't say anything about numbers because if I use numbers, it's unfair. To beef me, man, I have to cut off an arm. I have to cut my other arm, and I have to fight with my legs. That's when it comes. This whole Suarez argument.
Good Jerry's face, man, looking like an evil villain.
With this whole Suarez argument, we've had to go trophies. We're not going to use numbers. We're not going to use because.
So what's your point?
We're cutting off limbs here.
What is your point then? What's your point? Then what are you trying to say?
I'm just saying that. We have to handicap ourselves with somebody's arguments. I'm not saying Salah's anywhere near Henry personally. Obviously, people like to say on the eye, and the on the eye merchants again. It's always for me a little bit like because goal scoring is the hardest thing to do in football. Otherwise, you weren't a striker, you'd be a midfielder, and if you're not good enough to be a midfielder, you'd be a defender. But that's another football argument. But again, personally, the term goal is heavily undermined. And the fact that Manham can turn around and not rate a person called Salah, like that to me, it's not about rating Henry. That to me is Salah disrespect. Personally, innit? That's about Salah disrespect.
Honestly, I just don't rate him like that.
I think what it is as well is that like we spoke about generations. If you go and speak to like kids that are 7, 8, 9, 10. They'll tell you Salah's ridiculous, and then when they get older, there's going to be someone else coming through, and they're not going to really put 100% in it because, like you said, and like I'm saying as well, even to do with with Henry, is that you were going to Highbury and you were seeing something that you had never seen in your life. You it was like, what? This brother's just running past everyone, no one can catch him, and it's crazy. But it's like when I go and speak to like my little brother that's 7 or 8. Do you know what I mean? When he goes and sees Salah doing that, or Trent, he's like, oh my God, I've never seen that. But of course he hasn't seen that because he ain't seen Beckham from before. He don't know who Beckham is. Do you know what I mean? The only Beckham he knows is Romeo Beckham. Do you know what I mean? The son. So it's difficult. So it's difficult, and I can understand. Especially from an Arsenal fan like you, it's difficult to go and be like, "No, what are you talking about?" Because it's like telling me that R9 isn't the greatest striker of all time, but someone older is going to tell me Bobby Charlton or something. Like, nah,
it's like telling me De Bruyne is better than Steven Gerrard.
Do you know what I mean? But when do you know what I mean? And it's difficult. Exactly. It's difficult to go and hear it. But when you try to open your mind up and you're like, actually, because when you look at the kids and stuff, they're not screaming Gerrard when they're shouting the ball. I'm telling you, they're getting De Bruyne or the generation before that were doing Aguero. Do you know what I mean? They weren't talking about, do you know what I mean, York and them man there. So it's difficult. It's difficult. And York and Cole. So it's difficult, man. It's difficult.
There you go. Aaron's put that up.
God, man.
I don't know. Aaron's asked me this before and I can't answer it.
Can I just say though, like, if you had to put me on the spot though, I am more of a Mane man than a Salah man any day of the week.
Oh, yeah, a lot of Liverpool fans are as well.
But preference, can I just say that that argument is so frustrating to me because it's like, man, are using preference over fact. You're going with preference over what is actually happening because you like a man's style better. Okay, so
style
doesn't equate to output.
Months, okay, but you see, all you keep reverting back to, but what you keep trying to do is you're trying to like use one point. My camera going funny.
It's fine. Now we can.
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. So what you're trying to do is use one point to then to back up that point, but then not use it for the other point. So if you're then using just numbers, because that's all you're doing.
I'm not using just numbers.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you a very simple question: who is a better footballer, Henry or Salah?
Henry's a better footballer. I would not do that.
So what are you? What you're just going off numbers. There's nothing to compare other than numbers.
What
that's what you're doing. What you're talking about is numbers.
Hold on.
Yeah, go on,
okay, no, but you need to understand. Neymar's a better footballer than Henry. He's a better footballer than Henry.
Of course, yeah.
But Henry is clear of Neymar. But Henry's clear of Neymar. He's clear of
There's an argument. There's a better argument.
There's an argument. But Henry is better. Do you know why? Because listed with being a better footballer, again, that's a certain percentage of the game. Henry.
So what is your point, though? Are you trying to say?
Henry has.
So what are you trying to say? Are you trying to say that you would prefer Salah to be in your team, to start a team, if they were both 25 years old? Are you trying to say you prefer Salah over Henry? Is that what you're saying?
No, of course not. I'm talking about you made the point. You made the point to me. I'm more of a Mane man than a Salah, and you probably come to me with arguments about why you think Mane is better than Salah. You probably would come to me with those type of arguments. Do you know what I mean? We're not going to get into that because Jerry and these man know my thoughts on that. But at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is that I don't want to keep on hearing the preference and the gracefulness of the player over everything else, because everyone values everything different. Of course, there's a trend going on now where if you talk too much about numbers, and I mentioned numbers twice, and I've probably been thought of a GA merchant, and I've only mentioned numbers twice. Do you know what I'm saying? In this whole argument, we've tried our best to exclude the numbers because you just get called a GA merchant because, again, in the previous era, it wasn't all about numbers. But what made Henry better than everyone else? It was numbers. Because in that era, numbers weren't a thing. Do you know what I mean? But in an era where numbers are a thing, guess who's at the top? So what I don't want it, as I said, and is there questions of his ability as an all-round footballer? Absolutely. Absolutely. But people disrespect output as if it's the easiest thing to do. Go be the best there then. I don't see. Do you know what I'm saying?
Agree.
If you're the best at something, as I said, put in the ball. At the end of the day,
if we want to talk about systems, boy, and talk about you want to talk about Henry, you want to talk about systems. Salah's got a lot to answer for, brother.
Yeah, exactly. But again, a system player is a compliment. Because back then, systems weren't really a thing. Apart from the guys that were playing in systems were fucking up everyone else. Literally. No one else could deal with it. The superior system would win your football match. So if a player is in a superior system, and that system is based on that player, because let's be honest, Liverpool's system success is both on a percentage, Mo Salah.
Yeah,
50%. I think it's about 30%. It's a dumb percentage that Mo Salah's output is about a third of Klopp's goals in this whole tenure. The only success we see is because of what's been going on around the output of Salah, Mane, and Firmino. Of course,
this is my Ronaldo argument. This is why I said Ronaldo's not a 10-10. So people consider Ronaldo the greatest footballer of all time because of his numbers.
Thank you.
And I say Ronaldo's not even top 10 best players ever.
I think Ronaldo and Messi are some of the best footballers without the numbers.
Yeah.
Obviously, they can't have zero, but
Hugo, it's preference because someone will see Ronaldo drop his shoulder, bust a couple step overs, and then he'll do rather than do what Neymar would do and make it slightly more flashy. He's just going to slap it to the corner. Do you know what I'm saying? But because someone would see Messi take on a bagger man and then put it in the net, it's about that preference in your footballer. But in terms of you can prefer this and you can prefer that. But what does it all come down to? What does it come down to that you can't argue about?
No, but I think the difference.
Yeah, but the problem, carry on, Joe. I was gonna say though, like people with Ronaldo speak of him like he's always been in the box number 9. All of a sudden, he didn't play all of his career like that. So people act like he couldn't do anything else. And you know what I'm saying? And I think I understand the whole talk about the stats and everything like that. Because before doing this, I'm not really thinking about the stats when I'm talking about them. The reason is because there wouldn't be a comparison video or a debate against two if there wasn't already elite. So there's not much to pull apart from them. It's like when Lee said earlier about the attributes and stuff. If you just went from the attributes of a striker, forget like speed and center of gravity and all that man are born with and all this business. You just went shooting for shooting. If you do Suarez and Henry, someone's going to say 10 out of 10. Someone's going to say 9 out of 10. And you can keep going down the list and there's not going to be much things different, maybe apart from headering the ball. So it's a bit, you have to use all of it. But I think when the players are so close in ability, you have to start feeding into the numbers, and if the numbers are vastly ahead of the other person, like Suarez over Henry, then that's why Suarez gets picked, because that's kind of what it is.
Suarez and Henry is a much better conversation than the Salah and Henry. I'm
not saying Salah and Henry. I'm not comparing that.
I just asked Henry's better than Salah.
Salah's given us 5 elite seasons. No one can argue that.
Salah's elite for us, but Henry's the better player. I think it's just as simple as
you have trouble arguing with a 16-year-old, though.
Yeah. I mean, don't let them get the same amount of golden boots. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think with me, I think it's just echoing what Jamie was saying. But the reason why I hear what Lee's saying in terms of Mane is because output does say a lot, and it does mean a lot, and I agree. But the reason why an Henry and Suarez it's a good conversation to have is because they had an impact on the whole game. And what I meant by that, and the reason why I have Messi over Ronaldo is because not only, and although Ronaldo to a certain extent could obviously impact a game, and even when he's playing on the left could impact a game, the way Messi impacted the game meant that he started to dictate what was happening on the pitch. And he's 5 steps ahead of everyone else. And for me personally, this is my opinion, and from what I've experienced playing, those are the players to go and play. They're the most difficult to play against. So the argument that he had with talking about Xavi and Iniesta, they didn't get the numbers. But any player that played against them would tell you, I didn't know what I'm doing. Like, I didn't feel... these players have gone and spoken and said, I don't really know what I'm doing. The reason why I look at Suarez and I'm like, Suarez, you're incredible, because he wasn't the most rapid, he wasn't the strongest, he wasn't the tallest, yet the movement, picking you out, saying, you know what, I'm going to stand over here because I know if you come here, he's going to give him space. That for me goes and I think impacts the game on a larger scale. And I think what Mane did and Mane had to accommodate a lot of the times impacted the game more than Suarez did. But I mean, Salah gave the output. So it's difficult because Salah gave the output which affected games, and 100% that affects games because ultimately you don't win a game. But there's so many times, and you saw it, where Mane picks up the ball off Fabinho, comes inside and spreads that ball out to Salah. He then's got to make a darting run to get inside the box. Then doesn't do that. Then tracks back. He affects the game a bit more and was more of a playmaker than Salah was, even though sometimes Salah gets more of the assist. But in terms of that Thiago, Thiago doesn't get assists, but he impacts the game. And I think that for me, what I see better. And I think that's why the argument's really good. Because
Jerry, if you told me that, but I agree with that. And personally, I would never say that Salah affects the game more than Mane, if it's that. Do you know what I mean? That's the whole point that I wouldn't argue against. It's just that everything you told me, Salah can still do, and Salah does that, but just not to Mane's level. The level that Mane was doing it was top 2 wingers in the world when he was doing it. So there's no shade of Salah to be, again, like what Hugo said, Mane affecting the game with his movement and his passing and his aggression and his tenacity was 9.5 out of 10. But I swear to you, Salah's was 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, you see what I'm
so
saying?
If you give me some, again, so that's why I would, So that's why I'm gonna agree and say Mane was better at it, but Salah was also very, very good at it. So if you now add the output onto being very, very good at something, this is what I mean when I say that. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, but because someone is so good at something, you forget how good they are at everything else. Do you see what I mean? It's not a rating a certain man for something. It's the disrespect of a certain attribute they have because it's just so.
Yeah, I think that's
the truth.
Well, it's like this comment here. So this comment here by Vic, quite the thing that's funny is that rivals always bring up numbers when they talk about Bobby Firmino. People use the stats when it's convenient for them. There's a very true.
The pundits done that with Firmino. I watch the pundits
they do it all
say
the time,
that was the best.
The only man to give him credit was guess who? The man in this argument, Thierry Henry, called him the best striker in the league.
Gary Neville did the same thing.
Neville did the same as well.
Only difference is I watched Neville say he was the best false 9 in the world. And then the season after, I watched him say that like his goals are becoming a problem, that he's not scoring. So that's what I'm saying.
Problem is that when you're
but 2 things can be true though.
You're getting 12, 13 goals and you're getting that consistent, but impacting the game is great. But it's going back to what Mont's is saying, that Mane, when his numbers dropped off for that small period, you saw the effect was it had a massive effect because now he's not giving that. It's not now, for example, if Salah's numbers just dropped considerably, I personally think it will be worse than Mane because he can't affect the game the same.
It'd be way worse. He'd rather play with 10 men.
He needs output to stay the same because if it does drop off to that 15,
I've been saying this.
14,
I think now, yeah, but not.
But I think even then, even if I had dropped off, he couldn't go. You never looked at Salah and looked at him as like a. You couldn't compare him to it. When people were talking about him and Messi, the only reason they were trying to put those together was when they were both having the numbers, because the numbers were so high.
No, I think I disagree.
No, it's true.
Opening season, people were giving the Messi comparisons because he's twisting 5 players and scoring. He done it against Tottenham. He done it twice against Watford in the same game.
But I'm not talking. I'm not talking about it. I'm talking about when Messi's there with the right back doing 1-2, 1-2, drawing the man there, pops a 1-2, then spreads the ball out wide, comes and gets it again, reverses it back to Busquets to then get on the end of the ball. So Messi, as good as Salah is, Salah doesn't do that. Salah doesn't do that, and Salah needs his output to stay high, and because that's the type of player he is. It's like Ronaldo now. If Ronaldo doesn't get goals, he offers nothing else. Nothing else.
Salah doesn't offer.
10-man man.
Why do man think if you take Salah's goals away, I wouldn't say he offers nothing else, because many good performances you've seen Salah. Like again, people don't. Why do people ever associate Salah's first touch? I've seen Salah take the ball. And I'll tell you this now. Maybe, as I said, this season, post AFCON, the brother's first touch wasn't. You could tell parts of his game had dropped off, because this is the first part. Man, them can laugh. Listen, man, them can laugh. But when it's come to seeing a lot of Salah's goals, how many times he controlled it over his shoulder? But no one gives a toss about it. No one gives. Salah has controlled the ball over his shoulder and brought the ball down time and time again.
The problem is that we see, like, if an Henry did it, if Bergkamp does it, if Firmino does it, I'm like, oh, that's class. With Salah, when he done that in the Champions League, I was surprised. I was like, oh my God, he took it down. And I think for me, that's the difference. I've seen, do you know what I mean? There's certain things I've gone and seen that Berbatov do, when I'm like, it's just all right. Well, he's taking it down now. Like, great touch. But when I saw Suarez, there's certain times when I see the touch, because he does that, and then in that same sequence, the ball will bobble off his foot when he bobbles it out of play. And I think that is the juxtaposition. But like, I agree.
If you don't watch Salah, you can. Like, I'm not telling you, Jerry. If you don't watch Salah, well, it's recent. Again, you use recency bias, bro. You use recency bias as a thing, and now I'm going to use recency bias. Obviously, this past 3 months, Salah's first touch has not been it. I'll be the first to say that. Again, hence why when he brought that down in the Champions League final when he nearly scored, me and Jerry we watched it and we were like, wait, that was a map. Wait, what? We were like, wait, huh? But 17-18, 18-19, 19-20, this guy's first touch, a defender 6 foot something is going to be holding him, and brother's bringing it down every time. He backs into you, takes the ball down, spins you, and he's gone.
Months, I'd say, yeah, you know that. Sorry, bro. No.
Go on, Hugo. Go.
No, I was just gonna say, along with what you said, you know, the I think it's 2021 season, the COVID season, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's the one he gets no ratings for. No Salah with thoughts. I'm telling you, bro, because everyone was trash.
100%. I think Jamie.
Yeah.
Do you know what? When you talk about like the first touch and you say this and that, like guys, he's a world-class player, so of course he's gonna have points and moments where he does immaculate and amazing things, but if you had to do a percentage, there are many times that I've seen last season, the season before that, 2-3 seasons where his touch has been very, very wayward. And look, he's kind of that rock and roll style that he has and he's had for the last 4 or 5 seasons. There's nothing wrong with it. Like, he does what he does and he is who he is. But for me, we can't start making things up, man. We can't start saying that this guy is renowned and well known for having a great first touch, because he's not. He's known for being an amazing goal scorer. And do you know what? I'll be honest with you. I'm going to keep it real. 2 years ago, someone asked me, who would I prefer, Neymar or Suarez? Apologies. They said Neymar or Salah. And I said Neymar. And I actually have to say, you know what? No. I'm taking that back. Who do I want in my team? I actually want Salah, because I know what he's going to do. He's going to get me goals. However he gets them, he's going to get them. But we can't start making things up. That's not true. He is not a good footballer. He's a very good goal scorer.
How is he not a good footballer?
Oh, that's wild, bro.
How is he not a good footballer?
That's a wild statement, bro.
Right, guys.
As I said, so a man takes on 5 players and scores, but he's not a good footballer.
We can do.
A clock is right twice a day.
Hold on. Outside of the boot pass, Gunali, and outside of the boot pass, inch perfect for Sadio Mane. Right, Salah, how about this? Salah has played passes better than Bergkamp, but you will never notice it. You'll never notice it.
As I said,
He has
he's
played
world class,
passes.
so he can do that. That's
No, but it's like, oh, he's world class, so he can do that. But when the guy that you know is known for doing it does it, it's like, oh my gosh,
yeah, because he does it in his sleep. That's what he's known for.
Right, guys, we're going. We've got a bit off topic, but that's all cool. I don't mind that.
He's not a good footballer. That's why.
Listen, I'm just keeping it a buck, bro.
What we're going to do is end it here, guys. We're going to end it here so it's not too long, so people can go back and watch this and have fun with it as well and stuff like that. Because it's been a great show. It's been a great show and a great debate. It went far better than I thought. And got to give it up to Lee coming in defending his man, and I love it. Big up to you, Lee. Thanks for coming in as always, my friend. Your debut on the show.
Yeah.
I hope you come in many more times. When the Liverpool Arsenal games get going, I'll get you on previews and all that if you want, my man.
100%, man. 100%.
Jerry, big up to you again, my friend. Been in a few times now. Always coming with the facts.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Jamie, man. And Hugo as well. Big up like that.
Oh, big up, bro.
Your duo is engaging.
My tag partner.
Big up,
big
up, bro.
This is the first show me and Sam's been together, and we ain't gone off about shit. Yeah, we usually just Lee. I don't know if you watched it, but when me and you go together, we just go off about things like this.
Big up, man. Dream team thing.
Big up Andy Answer as well, man.
Yeah, we just go mental. We are probably going to do some video that we just chat. You know, nostalgia video coming your way soon, guys.
By the way, Sterling signed for Chelsea, by the way.
Did you just sign?
Sterling,
man. Sterling, that's a great buy for Chelsea. Fantastic.
Big up Sterling, man.
It's a big miss for City, by the way. That's a big miss for City. Because that's a quality footballer. Very underrated.
What video I'm doing tomorrow.
However big of a miss that is, I don't want any one of you thinking you're winning the league because you know it's not happening. Do not get any ideas.
Lee?
What?
Do not get any ideas.
Chelsea fans.
I'm telling you lot now. Even though Sterling's gone, do not get any ideas. None of you.
Yeah,
Jerry,
Grealish to the rescue.
I've said my opinions. I
think we all think City are favourites. Yeah.
I've said
I'll put my neck up. We're winning the league. I'll put my neck up. We're winning the league.
You're mad. We're winning the league, bro.
I've said it, Lee. I've said it.
Just like how you said you're getting third, we're winning the league. See that? Do you like that?
I said it before.
Who's getting third? Arsenal.
Oh, he said he's getting third. So what? I can't say winning the league.
I love it.
Arsenal, you know.
The grass ain't greener on the other side.
You man are gonna be battling with Everton for 8th, bro. But anyway.
I love it. This is brilliant. It's not even a surprise, it's Nathan. Guys, it's been fantastic. Lee, let everyone know where they can find you at, my man.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I've got my YouTube page now, Gooner Lee. You can find me on Insta as well, gooner.lee. Listen, I'm kind of trying this YouTube thing now. I'll be on AFTV next week Tuesday as well, so you can catch me on there as well, man. So yeah, I'm trying to do big things this season.
Big up, man.
Big up to you, making a success for yourself. Big up, my friend. Jerry, where can the world find you?
So guys, on the Jerry James show, controversial as always. I like to play devil's advocate a lot. On Instagram at the Jerry James show, and then on Twitter, Jerry James show as well. And yeah, just hit me up if you want to chat football, sports in general. To be fair, a lot of the guys like Lee, Saint, everyone comes on my channel. I need to get Jamie on and Hugo as well, so I'll try to do that in the next couple of weeks. So appreciate it. You've been great. Thank you.
Big up, bro.
Thank you very much. Yeah, go and subscribe to Jerry's show channel, guys. He's doing great stuff over there. And Mons, the man, close to 2K. He's trying to get there. Tell him where they can find you to get to 2K. Go on.
Big Six Bands. We are on the road to 1,700. We're about
there you go.
15 subs off. So if you want to help us get to 1,700, hopefully we'll hit that tomorrow. But let's try and speed up the process. You know, man's here. Big Six Bands. If you want it, it's not just Liverpool. It's top 6 affairs in general, and some other stuff about the Premier League. It's quite toxic, but you know it's off season right now, so it's more, you know, objective than toxic. But as I said, I'm here fighting Mo Salah's battles, palming off all the haters. You know what I'm saying? Mo Salah's the official defender. So yeah.
Big up, Mons. Thanks for coming in as always, my friend.
No worries.
And my tag team partner, the original Oos.
Come on, you already know, bro. You go online, movies, reactions, trailers, music. Savage Talks Wrestling for your wrestling needs, you know, like that. And then Savage Talks Football, man. You know the vibes, bro. I stand with Vince McMahon every time. Let's go.
Oh, is it? Vince McMahon, yeah? All right.
I love it. Stand with Vince. We stand. Like As I said in a video earlier, they all took the money. And on that note, guys,
trust me, 12 million for Pum Pum is mad. 4 things. Come on.
You got to stand with Vince McMahon after those quads, man. You gotta help him up, man.
All right, guys, big up to everyone coming in. And don't forget to like the channel on the way out as well. Like the video on the way out. And if you do watch this on the replay, make sure you hit that like button up and go subscribe to all these great guys. Until next time, guys, thank you very much. Appreciate it.